Friday night. Friday night, fourth and long, as usual. Gentlemen, how are we this evening?
Doing great.
I'm warm. I'm
doing well.
Warm.
My cat came home, so everything's fine.
Your
kitty.
Your cat came home and you promptly turned her into a pair of headphones. I love the dedication to the feline friend. Yeah, you have to. So, guys, welcome to the show. Everybody at home, welcome. This is Fourth and Long. As you know, big shout out to our presenting sponsor, Outlaw Jerky Company, and 4-1 Sports Studios. Thanks again to everybody who's been tuning in over the last couple of weeks. We've got a pretty compact show here for you tonight. Got a lot to unpack and short amount of time to do it. We are live a little earlier than normal, just trying to let everybody get on with their evening at the end of the show. But I want to start by pointing out the pick'em standings. I have to, selfishly. We've gone from the stat man, Lieutenant Ship, having a 9-game lead to it dwindling now to just 2 games.
Oh, it still is 2. I couldn't figure out whether it was 2 or 1.
It's 2 games. And you'll see on the bottom of your screen there on the ticker, the standings. Ship is 113 and 68 and 1. Everybody has a tie because we all picked the tie game the same way, so everyone just got a tie for the continuity's sake. 113
I just counted that as a loss for everybody because you pick the winner, and if it's a tie, like no.
Yeah, but the other team didn't lose.
Yeah,
but the team that you picked to win didn't win.
Your opinion is noted. It got recorded as a tie.
There's a suggestion box when we get done with the season.
Yeah,
just when you fill it out.
In Las Vegas,
here,
if you
I actually have the
just...
suggestion box right here. So yeah.
Hey, in Vegas, if you pick straight up money line and they tie, it's a loss because you picked a team to win and the game tied. It doesn't matter.
I hear what you're saying.
We don't pick spreads, we pick money lines.
We're not picking money lines either. We're picking winners. So winners and losers, and there were neither in that game.
Nobody picked Mo Winos this week than me and Nathan, by the way.
That is true. Record of the week, 9-4 last week, me and Jordan. Last week was fairly uniform. As is customary, we all picked the same in a lot of games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of last week's games were unanimous. Only 3 of them were different. Chip at least held his ground and took Seattle by himself. So that was a good pick for him. Me and Jordan successfully picked Washington and New England as well. That was the difference makers.
Vegas should have beat Washington.
No, they should. I took Vegas.
They gave that game away.
Right.
When I take them, they lose. So there you go.
Yeah. So when Chris picks his Raiders lose. We know this.
Can we just have a moment of celebration for Dan Campbell? How about Dan Campbell?
Motor City Dan Campbell getting his first W last week.
After he gives Jared Goff the biggest hug in the world after he talked pure shit about him for a couple weeks.
Well, what else?
Winning fixes everything. You know the rules.
and I would be remiss if I did not point out who was on the losing end of the Motor City Dan Campbell brigade.
Listen, that's fine. We can talk about that. But we had last night the teams that couldn't beat Detroit. And guess what? Minnesota's not the worst team in the league now. So
you almost gave that one away.
It doesn't matter. Almost counts in 2 things.
Who won the fucking game?
Almost counts in 2 things.
My boy.
He's back with a vengeance.
A dub's a dub.
And all I'm going to say is if that game would have been a Sunday game, Jordan would have 100% taken the Steelers. So,
I thought the same thing. I think he did take the Steelers on his own podcast.
Yep.
There you go. See, that's a fail.
He sure did. No one claimed you guys were good hosts.
He should give that up because I am one of the persons who watches his podcast every week, so he should give that up.
Look, all I'm saying,
Chris is still in last place, right?
Yes, I am by 2 games.
Okay,
Chris is still in last place. But listen, I will say this: I do have to give my boy Jordan some props here. He and Jack have a Minnesota Vikings live streamed podcast show called Load the Box.
Load the Box Vikings.
Load the Box Vikings. Because there is a Load the Box Browns edition as well, which is not quite as on par. But
trying.
It's not them. It's no shot at the people who run the host. It's just the Browns are just subpar everything about them. So it is what it is. But no, in all seriousness, Jordan and Jack host Load the Box every single week. It's a great show. If you're a Vikings fan or interested in the Vikings or interested in just good football talk, they have great discussion. It's a lot more in depth because they have a much more narrowed focus than what we do here on Fourth and Long. It's a great show. I encourage everybody to check it out. Jordan, where can they check that show out?
Facebook.com/loadthebox. It's where you can get the Vikings and Browns shows. You can also catch the shows uploaded on YouTube. The YouTube's a split, so ours is Load the Box Vikings. The Browns guys are Load the Box Browns. And then it's Wednesday nights. Vikings go at 6. The Browns go around 8. That's Eastern time. Gets a little fuzzy whenever I'm talking to people from Minnesota about times because they're in a different time zone than me, so I have to move everything back an hour. But it is 6 p.m. Eastern for all of our Ohio friends.
There you go. So let's break it down really quickly. I want to spend about 5 to 10 minutes kind of brushing up on our preseason Super Bowl picks. Obviously, we know Chris Land may not be as much of an idiot as we thought he was when he said Washington was potentially a Super Bowl team. I think at this point, I don't know about Super Bowl, but potentially playoffs.
Won 4 straight.
I want everybody to give their Week 14 pick for Super Bowl winner. No context, no in-depth in the weeds breakdown. Who's your Super Bowl winner at this point in the season? Jordan, go.
And mine's the same as it was before the season. It is the Patriots, the Bucks, the Pats win, Brady's gone. New dynasty.
Chris?
I'm stunned that you would say it, but you would stick to it. Man, I'm going to go with the hottest. I'm going to go with the Chefs.
Kansas City Chefs.
Their defense has been getting better every week. They're actually won because of their defense. So
their defense is ranked number 1 in the last 4 weeks,
which is crazy because they were like
in all of PFF.
They were like, the PF Chang ratings.
They were
garbage,
on pace to be the worst defense ever.
They were warm.
Like statistically, they were on pace to be the worst defense ever, and in the last 4 weeks, they've bumped up to number 1.
So what you're telling me is that PF Chang ratings are contextual, and they don't really tell you a whole lot. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Let me tell you this. Fenton has an 89 grade for defense. Just to put that in context, the great cornerback for the Vikings, Breland, is a 46. So,
well, there you go. That's some context for you. So I'm going to give my Super Bowl pick.
He's the 118th ranked. Sorry.
I hate to say it, but I think it's the Titans.
Don't say it.
I think it's the Titans.
Oh, without Derrick Henry,
we'll be back week 17.
He might be back for the playoffs.
He'll be back.
He's going to be back for the playoffs, and the Titans. I'm not going to say they haven't missed a beat without Derrick Henry because that's definitely not the case. But they are still one of the better teams, if not one of the best teams in the league.
Run defense
without Derrick Henry. It might be scary what that grown ass man does to people in the playoffs, coming back with a chip on his shoulder. I'm just saying.
You also got to think like he's going to be fresh because he hasn't played in 11, 12 weeks. If they come,
he hasn't been taking a beat.
He hasn't been. I mean, at the beginning of the season, like if he played an entire season, he's banged up going in the playoffs. Maybe he's not as healthy. He rehabs that foot and comes back and hasn't been getting beat up for the last 12 weeks. I mean, watch out. A fresh Derrick Henry is
Julio
scary.
comes back this
I mean, they're getting healthy at the right time.
Yep.
I mean, you want and they're still. I mean, you got to watch out for Indianapolis, but they're getting healthy at the right time. And I mean, that could be scary. I like that pick. I'm gonna stay in the same division. I'm gonna pick Indianapolis to go to the Super Bowl.
What?
Yes, I'm going to pick Indianapolis to go to the Super Bowl.
Somewhere a bunch of people watching this show just went, oh, come on, man.
Against Green Bay.
He got run over by that bandwagon. He almost missed jumping on it real quick.
Who?
Got
Are
him.
you talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
what are you
kind of
talking
hurt
about?
Mm-hmm.
I said at the beginning of the year Carson Wentz was going to have an MVP caliber season because he actually has an offensive line.
And you were wrong about that. You were wrong about that.
What are you talking about? What do you even mean? Jonathan Taylor's the best running back in the league right now.
So how does Jonathan Taylor being the best running back in the league help Carson Wentz win the MVP?
Because you have to load and stack the box against Jonathan Taylor, and it opens up your passing game.
Carson Wentz ain't beating nobody.
2,900 yards,
Get out of
22
here.
touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
And he sprained both his ankles at one point.
You're high.
Saying.
You're smoking crack.
Okay, listen. We ripped Chris Land. Okay, I'll take my lumps. Chris Land can take his lumps for picking Washington, the racisms, to go to the Super Bowl. Listen, if the racisms win, they have two of the remaining 4 games or 2 of the remaining 5 games are against Dallas. If they beat Dallas a couple times and Dallas loses another game or 2, like Washington could steal the division. Watch out.
Yeah, they could, but they won't because Washington might. Anyway, I can't believe you picked Indianapolis. Ship, what do you think? I know who Ship's picking. Oh, he's going away. Oh, look at him.
I'm back.
Hurt his feelings by saying
I'm back.
We can hear you.
Said that all of a sudden it just wanted to.
I was gonna say we could hear you. I thought you were changing the background to the big blue star or something.
No. I'm not doing all that work. I don't have time for that.
So who's your Super Bowl pick this point in the season?
If Dallas can get through LA in the NFC Championship Series, Dallas and Kansas City will play in SoFi Stadium in February.
Wolf.
And Dak will be holding the Lombardi Trophy.
Are you willing to put your money where your mouth is on that one?
What?
I'm just asking. Are you willing to put a piece of hot jerky on the line?
Let's see.
Listen, he's not. I can't see him. I can't see all 3 of you jumping him for the hot jerky. I don't think he's in danger.
No. I'm not talking about the pick'em standings. I'm talking about a one-on-one. I'm talking about me and Ship, a one-on-one bet. If Dallas makes the Super Bowl, I'll eat a hot piece of jerky. If they don't, he eats a hot piece of jerky.
That's a terrible bet because you're getting the field.
Exactly. I'm getting
Dallas.
1.
Okay, that's fine.
I like that Ship prefaced the, Dak will hold the Lombardi Trophy. Before all of that, remember he said if Dallas can beat the Rams.
I don't think it's the Rams Dallas has to worry about.
Green
Bay. They have to worry about Green Bay and Tampa Bay.
And Arizona.
I don't think Dallas has to worry about any of them because they're going to get bounced in the first round.
Tony Pollard is hurt and can't run the ball, we've seen that Zeke isn't good by himself. So
we will be just fine.
Have we?
Okay.
We've seen.
Okay.
All right. Chip, don't indulge this court jester with that bet. Please don't.
No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. I'm passionate, not stupid.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, all right, listen.
It's like wearing a Notre Dame shirt. You might as well have a Brian Kelly shirt. You want to put Brian Kelly on there, bud?
First of all,
I'm wearing LSU colors.
I rooted for Notre Dame when we had.
No. Hold on. If you're going to talk about Brian Kelly, you got to talk in a Southern accent.
No, stop. I was there for the Charlie Wise years. I was there. No. Listen, Brian Kelly gone. Like, good riddance. We're better off without him. That's all I got to say.
Hey, how much do you like that Indianapolis prediction? Because they're only plus $3,900 to win the Super Bowl.
That's fine. Let's watch and see it play out. Let's watch it.
Kansas City's plus 650.
Who's Indy playing in the Super Bowl? You just said Indy. Who are they playing?
They'd have to hope the Giants make the Super Bowl if they want to win the Super Bowl.
That is true.
So whatever.
Let's let the season play out and see how it goes.
Dallas is plus 1,300.
So it's okay for us to tell
New England?
Josh, let's just wait for the season to play out. But Ship says Dallas is going to win. Then it's jumped down Ship's throat.
Super Bowl.
And neither can Indy, so don't even start with me.
That's not true.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry.
Not true.
I forgot. Josh knows everything.
I do.
You're worse than Nathan right now. You're absolutely worse.
No.
How did I get drug into this
Dallas is in danger
mess?
of not even making the playoffs. Let's just leave it alone.
Oh, let's pull up some standings.
Go ahead.
Oh, this will be fun.
Dallas is running into a buzzsaw this week with the racisms, though. I mean, what are they on now? A 5-game win streak?
Hey, Mike McCarthy guaranteed a win, and Ron Rivera said he was doing it just to
terrible.
Pump his team up.
That is the worst. That is the worst thing that you can
say
going up against an NFL caliber.
Hey, but look, the last 5 games they have, it's Washington, New York, Washington, Arizona, Eagles. So I can already see at least 2 wins there with Philly and New York.
Listen, Dallas is making the playoffs. We don't have to debate this.
Yeah, we go
Dallas
11
makes the playoffs as a
6.
2 seed. Minnesota sneaks in as a 7 seed and beats Dallas first round.
Okay, all right.
Oh, that'd be a fun game to watch.
We'll just put Cooper Rush back in. It's cool, bud. You remember that guy?
Hey, I'm just going to be honest. I don't think you would have beat us any worse with Dak Prescott. If history has shown us anything, the Vikings don't lose by more than 5 points. And they only win by 8.
But the key word is lose by. Lose by. That's not like the Vikings don't win by more than 5. It's lose by. So,
well, hey, you know,
we won by 8 last night.
All right. At some point, we got to bring the reins in and talk about this week's games. She'd be a transvestite. Let's see here. That's a different take on that saying. All right, guys. Obviously, this week's Thursday game we don't pick because the game's already over. Luckily for Jordan, his Vikings pulled out a win on Thursday. It's been a stressful week for all of us, especially Jordan.
I figured it wouldn't be for you since Cincinnati's in the top 4 there, bud.
Yeah, it's still been a stressful week, but that's another time for another story for another time. So this first game on the docket, Chris Lane, I'm going to have you lead us off on this one because I really don't know what you're thinking. But before we get into this week's games, we do have a brief message from your friend and mine, Mr. Paul Huber, live from the Rock and Roll Wood Shop. I always do that. I always introduce the first game and remember I haven't run the segment yet. So here comes Hubie with his weekly segment, boys and girls.
This poorly produced video has been brought to you by the Outlaw Jerky Company. Get some.
Hello, everybody. I'm Hubie, and I have new sunglasses. Welcome to this week's edition of You Heard It from Hubie. So this week's review of an adult beverage will be the Svedka Black Cherry and Lime Vodka Cocktail. So I'm going to drink this like a civilized human this week. I'm not going to shotgun. Simply going to open it, taste it, what I think. Alexa, turn it up. All right, so this is not technically a seltzer. It's definitely not as carbonated. This has real vodka, real juice, and natural flavors. Svedka, which is a popular bargain brand vodka, but I will tell you this, they kind of brought the heat with this one. I am a fan of this. As you know, the seltzers, you get that mineral taste like mineral water, but I'll tell you what, this is solid. So this is a $10.99 for a 4-pack. I'm going to give this a 7.5, which is a solid score on the Hubie scale of adult beverages. So I'll tell you what, let's get into this week's edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So we are reviewing Week 13, and it's time to take a look at the season in review. No players or individual wins and losses are going to be talked about. This week, the good. Man, I tell you what, the parity in the NFL is definitely front and center right now. In the AFC, the Patriots are 9-4. The Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Titans all have 8 wins. The Bills, the Chargers, the Bengals, and the Colts all have 7 wins. And right now, I tell you what, man, you got to watch out for those New England Patriots as well. Tell you what, New England Patriots right now and the Colts are the two teams that I am most impressed with in their recent runs. But let's talk about the NFC now. The NFC is not quite as even, but the Arizona Cardinals, 10 wins, best in the league. The Packers and the Buccaneers both have 9 wins. Cowboys and Rams both with 8 wins. But overall in the NFL, 8 other teams have 6 wins with 5 weeks to go. And they're still in the hunt. The playoff stretch is going to be so much fun to watch this year in the NFL. So that's the good. The bad, the NFC North, they are 19-28 as a division, second worst only to the AFC South, which is 19-8. and 30. Yes, the AFC South is 11 games under 500. Well, that makes them the worst division in the NFL. Finally, the ugly. The officiating in the NFL still sucks. Which reminds me, wait. What am I looking for? Oh, so I need to do something for my man, Chris Land. I love you, buddy. Cheers from Nashville. Merry Christmas. And that is the end of this edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And thank you for watching. You heard it from Hubie. Let's turn it back to our esteemed panel. But listen, I insist that I get some comments from you guys on this week's edition of You Heard It From Hubie. Man, I gave you guys a lot to talk about. Let me know what you think. See ya! By the way, I'm Hubie, and Merry Christmas.
Well, I really like the fact that Hubie pointed out how well the Patriots are playing this year. I'm big on a big Mac Jones guy. He certainly earned a lot of favors from me. I also love the shout out to Chris Land and the fireball shot.
Here's to you. Like water. Ugh, God.
My man.
Are we not going to talk about who else UB talked about? The Colts?
Sure.
We're not going to mention them.
I wasn't going
quick. It was real quick.
I wasn't going to, but you're welcome to.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure we didn't miss that little tidbit.
I think he was talking about a Canadian football team. Yeah, I don't think he was talking about that team.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
We've got Gavin Nabel in the chat. He says, "What's up, Silver? It's Hurdle from Twitch. What's good, Hurdle? Good to see you." Dean Zorn is here. Says, "Go Green Bay." I think that's Hubie's cousin. I think his comment is directed to Hubie, so I'm sure Hubie will see that if he's tuning in. Jordan is going to be back in just a second. Apparently, he has a delivery or something at his door that
He said somebody was at his door 5 minutes
checking
ago.
on.
With
Yeah.
that kind of case,
Yeah,
he might get robbed.
Yeah, you never know.
Well, hey, when they're at my door like that, usually I'm getting arrested.
Yeah. Well,
I meant to tell you, I'll be there next week. By the way,
yeah.
I'm moving.
Yeah, Chris Land is moving, taking his Hillbilly Roadshow down to Florida.
I definitely am. New countertops this week. We are moving ahead at a rapid pace.
There you go. Also, I do need to point out, very nice touch from Hubie with the Christmas music in the background this week. We are getting closer. We're 2 weeks away from Christmas. That reminds me, the week of Christmas is currently TBD on if we will do a show earlier in the week. Might take the week off and just do our picks digitally as before. We'll keep you guys in the loop on that as we make a decision. Of course, Titus is here to talk smack about my Super Bowl prediction. Whatever, Titus. All right, so as we move into this week, we've got the Chiefs and the Raiders kicking us off. Jordan did let me know, in case he's not back, that he is picking Chiefs. We'll let him explain why when he gets back. Chris Land, you're a Raiders guy. Every time you pick the Raiders, they lose. What are you thinking this week?
I've never been more confident in a pick. Never. The Chefs are going to win going away this week.
You've never been more confident? Not once?
Never. Not. I'm trying to tell you, if for those who need a reminder, last time the Chiefs and the Raiders play, Mahomes put up 400 on them.
Yeah, that was the first game their offense came back.
Yeah, and the Raiders' defense has not improved, and their offense has regressed. So the reality is the Raiders are finally becoming the team that I thought they were going to be early on. So yeah, give me the Chefs and give me all the Travis Kelce and FanDuel I can get.
Attaboy. Jordan, I made the announcement that you picked the Chiefs. Tell us why.
We mentioned it. We talked on it whenever we were doing the Super Bowl picks a second ago. I mean, the Chiefs might be the hottest team in football, and their offensive firepower far outweighs that of the New England Patriots. I don't know if the defense can play at an elite level for very long, but I know that they are playing that way now. it's just two teams that are trending in very different directions. The Raiders are kind of plummeting. The Chiefs are ascending to take the rightful spot atop the AFC. It's just kind of an easy pick this week, unfortunately. But hopefully Tyreek Hill does some big things. Hopefully they don't get out to too big a lead too early, and then he just becomes a non-factor because I got him in fantasy. So
there you go, Josh. What do you think, bud?
Similar to what Chris Land said. The last time these two teams played, it's the game that everybody thought the Chiefs offense finally figured it out. Mahomes put up over 400. The Chiefs have won 5 straight. Give me the Chiefs.
Fair enough. Chip, I'm going to go ahead and take the Chiefs. I don't have a ton to add here. I'm sure that Chip's going to fill us in on some of the intriguing stats of this game. So go ahead, Chip.
True. So, and I've heard it earlier today. The only way that you're going to be able to beat Kansas City in Kansas City is to outscore them. It's not going to be a 13-something game. It's not going to be that. I think they just ruled out that Darren Waller is not playing for Vegas again this Sunday.
Yeah, they did.
He will be out.
He's gone.
He gone. Rashad Fenton is questionable. Chris Jones was a full participant, so he'll be back. Mike Hughes is going to be back. But Carl Nassib is also going to be out. Patrick I had this one. Anuaswar. Hey, you know that one there, Chris? The linebacker. Anyways, he's out.
I can't say it either.
Anyways, Denzel Perryman is a doubtful. So they do have a lot of injuries. Kenyon Drake they don't know. He's on IR. He's done for the year. So, and I don't know if you saw the story about Kenyon Drake. He wants rule changes. So, but moving forward, Vegas, just some stats. Vegas has got the best pass rush when they send 4 fewer this season. They rank first with 31% quarterback pressure. Mahomes has a 35% completion rate when under pressure. In case you're wondering, Mahomes now has 12 interceptions this year, which is actually tied for the most he's ever had. 5 of those interceptions have actually come on drop passes, which is the most by any quarterback. The Raiders are 0-4 when they allow fewer than 300 yards this season, which is an interesting stat. When they allow 300 plus, they're 6-2. So they like to, go for it. Andy Reid, 14-3 against the Raiders since 2013. And where's always my fun one? The Raiders have lost 4 of their last 5 since their bye week. They started 5-2, but I agree. It's in Kansas City. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like. It doesn't show.
Who cares?
Yeah, it's still fun. But yeah, Kansas City.
I can promise the boys in the desert aren't going to like playing in Kansas City, regardless if it's a nice day in Kansas City in December. The boys in the desert ain't digging that.
So
Josh Jacobs is a great fantasy play, though.
He is.
I have a question. I have a question, though. With playing
50 degrees and sunny, by the way, for the weather.
Yeah,
15?
50, 50. That was going to be my question.
80 degrees here tomorrow.
That was going to be my question because I don't feel like the weather's going to be all that treacherous for this game. So, to what extent? I mean, look. At the end of the day, I know I said I was going to give my pick and move on. But at the end of the day, Kansas City's a 10-point favorite in this game. Their offense is clicking. Their defense is back. Vegas is floundering ever since the whole, John Gruden getting fired ordeal. Let's be honest. They haven't been the same team since. I can't understand where this is even remotely close. I don't know that I'm taking Kansas City to cover, but I tell you right now, I'll be shocked as shit if they don't. I'm just being honest.
I agree with that. It definitely seems it's literally the perfect stone for just an absolute blowout. But my question to Chris Lamb before we move on is, if they win, Chris Land, are they going to do another victory lap around the city and celebrate like they just won the Lombardi?
Hell fucking yeah, they are. That's a division rival that's been to the last 2 Super Bowls. You better get that dub. You better get that victory lap, son.
Yeah. That's yes. If they win, they should get that victory lap. I'm not even going to pretend about that. So, Chip, did you ever actually make your pick, or did I cut you off before you do that?
No, Kansas City.
Okay,
Kansas
all right.
City.
I thought so, but I have a tendency to misremember things. So, as is customary, first pick of the week. Of course, we're all unanimous with Kansas City. So let's transition here to the second game on the docket. We've got 14 games to discuss. 14 or 13. 79.
What's the next one?
13 games to discuss tonight. We've got the Jets hosting the Saints. Now, despite all of the injuries, the Saints are still a road favorite at 5.5-point games. Last line I saw, but the line is moving a little bit towards the Jets. So, Chris, unpack this one for us. Tell us your thoughts.
Awesome. I'm in last. I go first every time. Let's do it. All right. I'm going to go with the Saints. I mean, but it wouldn't surprise me for the Jets to pull it off. I mean, they've been kind of strangely competitive in different games and stuff. But I do think the way the Saints are going to attack them, which is it going to be, RPOs, read options, lots of stuff in the flat and stuff like that. I think it'll be a slower offense for the Saints, but it'll probably be a pretty decent offense for the Saints. And, you really just can't say that you believe in the Jets defense whatsoever, even though they have kind of pulled off. I mean, they got a few wins, and it's like teams that they should have never beat. So it wouldn't surprise me, the Jets, but I'm taking the Saints because I can't afford to lose any games, and I'm definitely not going to take a chance on dropping one by picking the fucking Jets.
Chris, I want you to know, if it makes you feel any better about picking first, I wrote down all my picks beforehand to make sure, because I feel like I've had great success the weeks that I just picked without being influenced. And I'm also going with the Saints because the Jets, it feels like they only win games they're not supposed to. Like, they're really not. They're going to be underdogs in every game because they're the Jets, but it feels like they only beat, like, the Titans. Or I'm sure they'll beat the Patriots if they don't.
Or the Bengals.
Yeah, like they beat these teams that are like
the Bengals are hot trash, let's be honest.
And they end up beating them. The Saints are also hot trash just because they don't have a quarterback. Jameis Winston honestly might be elite considering what Taysom Hill and Trevor Siemian have done with this roster compared to what he was doing.
You just killed
I'm gonna go with him though. Because
let's do an over and under on Taysom Hill fantasy points. 20 is the line. Does he go over or under in a full point PPR?
I would go over. Because I do
over
think
20.
He's going to run
I'd say
the ball
26, 27. Yeah, I'd say
okay, so what would you say? So we're going to do the same thing with Joe Burrow when we get to that game. Just so you know. Just good. Because I think that's a pretty level. I think different ways to get there.
This college offense that the Saints are about to run with Taysom Hill is going to be enough, especially with their defense. Their defense does still, it plays pretty well.
And the Saints got a good line.
Yeah, as long as their quarterback doesn't turn it over 4 or 5 times, they should be able to win this game. So it's going to be up to Taysom to kind of prove that, he's a quarterback and he's not a dud.
Yeah, this offense that the Saints are about to put out is going to be like shades of like early 2000s Nebraska, with like Eric Crouch and some of those quarterbacks who really they just ran and threw the ball every once in a while. I mean, let's be honest about this. The Jets are terrible. Okay, they're a bottom feeder team who has struck lightning 2 or 3 times this year. The Saints are now terrible because of all the injuries, but Taysom Hill is still a pretty good athlete, and I like the Saints behind a pretty good athlete versus a whole front line of nothing but trash, which is what you get with the Jets. Not necessarily just their offensive line, but everything about the Jets is like subpar. Even as disappointing as it's been to see, Zach Wilson go up there and flounder because I really liked him coming into the draft. The Jets just don't got it, man. They're just not the place. They're not the team. It's not just ship them out. Give that stadium to the Giants.
Right now, we have one of our esteemed panel that would love to have He'll love to have Mr. Wilson on his team.
I would love to have Zach Wilson on the Vikings.
That's not a shot at Zach Wilson. That's a shot at money. That's a shot at the Jets being a place where quarterbacks go to die. In the same way that I think Trevor Lawrence is in the similar predicament in Jacksonville.
Absolutely.
But I think if you give both Robert Saleh and Urban Meyer the opportunity to shred these teams in the offseason now that they've got a full season, I think Zach can actually be productive next year. I do.
Urban Meyer is by far the worst right now.
Yeah, I don't think
Urban Meyer. Saleh or Urban?
Saleh. I would take Saleh.
Saleh understands
Super Bowl caliber defense.
And he knows he's seen championship football in the NFL, and Urban Meyer is there for a check.
Urban Meyer doesn't.
What they were talking about this week with Robinson and how Parmalee is the running backs coach, and basically Parmalee hadn't been allowed to speak until this week. I mean, it is just a complete shit show down there in Jacksonville.
It's really
horrible.
To me, it's really simple. Robert Saleh's got a track record of being a successful NFL coach, not a head coach, but a coach, championship level defenses. He understands the climate of an NFL locker room. Urban Meyer does not. Urban Meyer only functions well in places where he can be in charge because he's in charge. In the NFL, those guys don't.
Barstools and co-eds.
Right. Well, there's all that aside. Listen, nobody cares about any of that. Nobody cares about any of that if the Jags are 11-4 right now or 10-4, whatever. Let's be honest about that. Urban Meyer succeeds in elements where the athletes are younger, they're more influenced, they're more malleable, they're more willing to just do as they're told because they're told, and that ain't the NFL. These guys are all millionaires, every single one of them. They were all state, they were all college standouts, some of them more than others. They don't care about Urban Meyer the same way that LeBron don't care who his damn head coach is, as long as it's a guy he can coach.
Bring it back to New Orleans and bring it back to the Jets.
Anyway.
Right.
Fair enough. I'm going with the Saints. I think I've said enough on that. Josh and then Ship.
That's all I got to say.
I'm gonna take the Saints, and I'm surprised nobody's mentioned this yet. Reason being, I think Zach Wilson's the better quarterback between the two that are playing. You know, we talk about how bad the Jets are. The Saints only have 2 more wins than the Jets right now. And the Saints,
the Saints, the Jets.
I'm contemplating taking the Jets. Like no BS. The only reason I'm not, Alvin Kamara is back this week. A healthy Alvin Kamara, and I think that's going to help Taysom. He's going to have his check down, and they're going to be able to run the ball a little more efficiently. Mark Ingram out with COVID this week. If Kamara wasn't back, I'd probably take the Jets, but
it's going to be RPO all day long.
Yeah, it's just going to be.
You can afford it. Kamara's a guy this week.
Yeah,
What do you think?
Like, my heart really says take the Jets, but I just can't. I'm going to take the Saints.
Chip?
All right, so look, Sheldon Rankins probably is not going to play. Michael Carter and Tevin Coleman are both out for the Jets. Trayvon Wesco, who's a backup tight end, is also out. Then you've got CJ Mosley, that's probably not going to play. Elijah Moore, the receiver, is questionable. Ryan Griffin's questionable. John Franklin Myers is probably not going to play. He was limited this week. And then you look at the Saints, including also Cameron Jordan is not playing for the Saints this week. Ryan Ramczyk, their right tackle, is going to be out. Caden Ellis, who's one of their linebackers, is also going to be out. But again, yeah, Alvin is back full healthy. Well, Jordan Humphrey may or may not play with his hamstring. So anything else as far as anything interesting, though? But this is the 6th time the Saints have been under 512 through 12 games in the Sean Payton era. The last time they did it, they were 7-9 and missed the playoffs in each of those previous 5 seasons. The Saints have a 607 strength of victory this season. That's the best in the NFL. And that just means their wins against Green Bay, New England, Washington, Seattle, and Tampa Bay. Their strongest combined. The interesting stat I saw that I did find was very interesting. Did you know the Saints have not scored on their opening drive since week 1 when they made a field goal against Green Bay?
Did not know that.
That is the last time they scored on their opening drive. New Orleans' 3 points on such drives is the fewest, of course, in the NFL this season. And the Saints have lost 5 straight games in a season for the first time since 2005. I do think they snap it, and they'll go to 6-7 and be right there with Carolina and Atlanta. So New Orleans.
Fair enough. The next game on the board, as we discussed Urban Meyer before, of course, is Tennessee and Jacksonville. Tennessee, a massive home favorite. Dean Zorn wishes us Merry Christmas. He says, thanks, guys. Green Bay's going to win the Super Bowl. Dean, thanks for watching the show, man. Appreciate you. Tennessee hosting the Jags. Ship, what do you got on this one?
So what I expect, who is going to have a big game, will not be Ryan Tannehill, will not be Julio Jones. I think it's going to be Devontae Hilliard. I like the way he looks. A smaller build, but he still kind of has that kind of this burst in the second and third level. So I do like the way he plays. Trevor Lawrence has no passing touchdowns in 5 games this season. 4 of his last 5 games, Lawrence has 2 such games in 40 career games at Clemson. Devontae Hilliard Jacksonville has allowed a top 8 fantasy running back in 2 of their last 3 games. Dontrell Hilliard had 16 plus points in 2 straight games. The Jaguars have scored only 17 points or fewer in each of their last 6 games. That's the longest in the NFL. The Titans are one of 4 teams with 4 losses this season. Tennessee has the easiest remaining schedule in the NFL, a combined 369 opponent winning percentage. So that could help them moving forward to lock up that 1 seed. And rookies are 5-1 against Mike Vrabel.
Tennessee to win the
Rookie starting quarterbacks are 5-1 against Mike Vrabel since 2018. He's the only. Trevor Lawrence is the only quarterback to lose against Mike Vrabel. In the last little bit, Tennessee is 3-0 with a plus 62 point differential after their bye in the Mike Vrabel era. That's the best in the NFL. Jacksonville is 0-6 versus teams after their bye in that same span. So, Tennessee.
I like a lot of what you said there. A couple minutes ago, I did say that the Titans were my midseason pick for the Super Bowl. I'm standing by that. Obviously, the Jags aren't going to get in their way. Let's be honest. I do think, I do think this is going to be interesting to see how the Titans stack up the rest of the season until Derrick Henry comes back in time for the playoffs. But given I was not aware of that stat, but given the fact that they do have the easiest schedule from here out in the regular season, I think only helps and strengthens the case for the Titans. Tennessee, I think pretty big. I don't make a habit of betting 9-point spreads, but again, much like that Kansas City spread, this is one that would be tempting. Kansas City.
They have a cupcake schedule.
Tennessee.
It's Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, the Dolphins, and the Texans. It's Tennessee's remaining.
That is not a cupcake.
Imagine if Henry was playing, they would win out.
They would win out.
Yeah.
And they would have beat the Patriots and the Texans if Henry was playing.
The Dolphins on like a 6-game win streak.
That's fine. That's
San
one
Francisco's
game.
on a huge win. I don't know. We
San
can talk
Francisco's
about that game
not on a huge game win streak. They got beat by Seattle last week.
That's right. They did lose to the Seahawks.
Yep.
That's correct.
Jordan,
I'm going with Tennessee, and the only thing I'll say I'm actually going to say it because I forgot Lil Jordan Humphrey played for the Saints. You can go back. I wrote an article on how badly I wanted the Vikings to take him in like the 5th or 6th round a few years ago. So when I saw him, Monday night having some success, I was very excited about it.
Fair enough. Josh?
Tennessee. I don't have anything to say. Tennessee. I'd like to see Hilliard pop off. I got him in a couple of weeks.
All right, Chris, you're up. Do you make the desperation pick?
And take the Jaguars?
Yeah.
That's going to be your home team, isn't it?
I did not know that crack was so prevalent in Lebanon, Ohio. But
not since '86.
One thing we learned from last year with Nathan's desperation picks, it's that it just gives you a deeper hole. So you don't throw it in yet. He's only 2
games
back.
I think the next game that might be a spot where he could make up some ground because I think we're going to be divided on the next one.
Well, before we get to the next game, we got to let Chris pick this game. What do you think, Chris?
I'm taking the Titans. I need 10 wins to win my preseason 9.5, better than 9.5 games. I'm going to be on the Titans every day until I cash that ticket.
How many wins do they have right now?
8.
8. Oh, there you go.
You're good.
Yeah, I'm getting it. I was all over that. I mean, early on.
What was the line on that preseason?
9.5 wins was their season total.
What was the payout, like plus 110?
Minus 110. If you lost, you paid 10% juice.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well,
I'm getting that ticket.
So far, we're unanimous in all of our picks. This next one's interesting, though. We have an AFC North divisional matchup. The Cleveland Browns are hosting the Ravens. What I find interesting about this, and I'll start us off with a pick here. I find this interesting that Cleveland's actually favored by 3 points. It didn't start out with Cleveland being favored. If I'm looking at this line move correctly, let me find it again just to be certain. Yeah, it looks like it opened at Baltimore -1, has moved to Cleveland -3. 4 points is a sizable move, I think. I'm wondering if that means Cleveland's got a better shot here, or if Vegas is just trying to shuffle money. trying to shuffle money around. But it does look like
I can tell you Cleveland's got a better shot. I can tell you that.
But it does look like a lot of the money's going to Cleveland on the money line. A little bit more of that is going to them on the spread. But then a lot of the money's going under on this one. The over under I'm seeing is 42.5. I think under's a smart pick on this game. I think Baltimore has shown that they're vulnerable. Cleveland has shown that they can put a good game together when they need a win. That's kind of the Baker Mayfield way. He tends to kind of win when he has to, and not always when he should. I think Cleveland wins this game. I'll be honest with you. I see this being one of those characteristic Baker Mayfield type games, and obviously, I mean, Cleveland's got some weapons, so we'll see. Chip.
So Marlon Humphrey is done for the season. You didn't have Marcus Peters to begin with, so those are your two top corners that are done. Calais Campbell may or may not be back. You've got Anthony Levine that's been hurt. Their defense is shattered. I mean, and I heard one person say it today on the NFL Network. The reason that Baltimore went for 2 was because they did not trust their defense enough to face Pittsburgh to hold them for that game in a tie.
You got to let the greatest player in NFL history, you got to let him eat. Saying.
So Nick Chubb is averaging 56 yards versus the Ravens in his career. That's the second fewest against any opponent. The Ravens are 10-4 against teams coming off of a bye. Cleveland is 0-4 when they rush for 150 or less. 6-2 of plus 150. As far as Cleveland, it looks like Anthony Schwartz will be out, and Harrison Bryant, the backup tight end, will also be out. And Greg Newsome is questionable, the cornerback.
I showed him as out now.
Okay. Baker is 2-5 in his career versus the Ravens. He's lost 4 straight. Lamar has a sub-90 passer rating in 6 straight games. He had 4 of those in 2020. And by the way, in case you're wondering, do you know who has been sacked the most times this year?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson's been sacked 37 times this season. That's the most in the NFL. I agree with you. I just have that feeling with how close they played against Pittsburgh and the way that Pittsburgh looked last night, driving but being down early. I feel like that should have been a game that they could win. I like Devontae Freeman, but I don't like him as much as J.K. Dobbins, I think, would have been in that role, and I think that's hurt him a little bit. So, yeah, I feel the same way. Give me Cleveland. I do.
Let me use my one piggyback to jump on and say, like, I agree. I think that Cleveland. I predicted that I predicted it was going to play out like this. What was Cleveland was going to lose to Baltimore, but then they would win the second matchup because the Ravens played Pittsburgh in between there, and so it was like 3 straight. It's a really tough stretch that Baltimore's on at the moment, and at some point, I mean, if you just keep losing defensive players and you keep losing running back, at some point that shit catches up with you, and I think it's gonna start catching up with Baltimore, and I think they are going to limp to the finish line. I don't think Baltimore makes the playoffs this season. I really don't. They're too banged up. Their defense, their secondary is depleted. They can't get a pass rush without having to bring pressure. But they bring pressure. They don't have guys that can cover long enough. They're in a tough spot. I think Cleveland's going to pull this one out. I think Baker's going to have this is going to be like a signature day for him. He'll throw for like 250 and 2 or 3 touchdowns. They'll run the ball effectively, and I think Cleveland wins this one going away. I actually would like him at more than I would take him at -3 for sure.
Josh?
I think the bye was the best thing that could have happened for the Browns in there. Baker was pretty banged up. If you look at Baltimore the last 4 games, they've scored 10 points. They scored 16, and then last week 19 against the Steelers. They're not breaking 20 points. That's not good. And like
great stat.
Huh?
Great stat.
Yeah. They're just not scoring 20 points. I mean,
and their defense. Okay.
And their defense, I mean, you lose another cornerback for the year, like Ship said. I mean, they're shattered on the defensive side. I mean, kudos for them for going 8-4, 12, 13 games into the season, and having 8 wins with losing Peters at the beginning of the year, the patches that they put on that team. kudos for them. But I also agree. I don't think Baltimore makes the playoffs, even though they lead that division right now. You got Cincinnati hot on their trail. I mean, hell, even Pittsburgh's only 2 games behind them now after their loss last night. So I'm also going to take Cleveland. The thing that worries me is Lamar gets free and starts running around like he does. But I mean, the last 4 games, you can't crack 20 points. I mean, that's a problem. So give me Cleveland.
I think Cleveland's pass rushers will have a better plan. I feel like the first time they played, they were just rushing him like he was any other quarterback. And that's why he was able to use his legs so much. You have to play such a tight, contained defense.
Myles Garrett will add another name to his tombstone.
I think the Ravens are a team that play better at home too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know the record. I just feel that way. I should look at that.
I mean, how many weeks? If
they're 5-1 at home and 3-3 on the road. So I just feel like they're a better team.
How many weeks can you just will them to victory through injuries, even though you're coaching subpar players? And look, coaching masterclass. Give him a 5-year extension. Harbaugh's done a great job this season. It's not his fault. His guys keep blowing his knee out. Ask the city to build you a new practice facility, and better luck next year. That's honestly where we're at. But
this is also a must-win for Cleveland if they want to make the playoffs, because they've got the Raiders next week, the Packers, the Steelers, and the Bengals. So
they're probably 500.
If Cleveland wants to make the playoffs, this is a must-win game for them. So.
Yeah. Okay. On me, or is it
on you?
All right. I'm going with the Browns. I initially had thought that I was going to go with the Ravens. The only thing that scares me whenever the Baltimore and Cleveland plays is the distinct coaching advantage on the Baltimore side of the field. Cleveland coaching staff, to me, there are days when they realize who they are. I'll give you an example. When Dearness Johnson played against Denver, they just ran it down their throat and they won convincingly. And then they go out and then they want to throw the ball around with Baker to prove that they're so. If Cleveland would just say, we're going to keep it simple, stupid, and we have 2 really good running backs, and we're just going to pound the shit out of you all day. And if our defense can make a few stops, we can control the clock. But they haven't done that. And that's probably the most disappointing thing about Cleveland this year. I do love that stat that Baltimore hasn't topped 20. I don't know. I don't know if you need 20, maybe first team to 21 wins this game. That could be how you look at that. But I'm on Cleveland. I had started my initial thought was with the Ravens, but man, just after the way they kind of gave in to a shitty Pittsburgh team and went for 2 because they were scared. I've never heard of Baltimore being afraid to play defense. That's some bullshit. So I'm going to take the Browns.
Fair enough. So
we haven't picked a single game differently yet.
Well, I know that you weren't here last week, Jordan, but we got like 7 deep before we did that.
It was like the first 6 or 7.
It's hard for me to gain, guys. It's hard for me to gain.
Baltimore was where I was like, he's going to take Baltimore because we all took Cleveland.
I was leaning towards Baltimore, and then the more and more I started looking, I was like, no.
Well, look, even Vegas was similar, right? Baltimore opens at -1. Now it's -3 for Cleveland. So, I mean, the line's moving.
And it's ready to be 3.5.
Yeah, the line's moving. The money's coming in. Vegas is fixing to, Vegas is fixing to really be Baltimore fans this weekend. I can tell you that much. But next game on the docket.
I feel their pain.
Next game on the docket: Carolina hosting the Falcons. This is a divisional matchup. Carolina is a home favorite. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that Carolina would be a favorite over the Falcons? Whoever wants to start, by all means. Ship, you can go if you've got some stats for us on this one. But we've got the Panthers and the Falcons.
So as far as injuries, there's actually really nothing to look at. They had 2 guards for Carolina that's injured, but
linemen aren't real people. We know that.
Jordan. Yeah, Michael Jordan is a guard for the Carolina Panthers, in case you were wondering.
He was also for the Carolina Tar Heels.
See? He was a guard. Matt Ryan is 17-10 versus the Panthers. The Panthers have the toughest remaining schedule in the NFC and will be on the road for 3 of their final 4 games. The Panthers have lost 7 of their last 9 after they started 3-0. The Falcons have allowed 25-plus points in 4 of their last 5 games and have scored fewer than 25 points in 4 straight. Carolina has fewer than 200 yards in 8 straight games. It's weird because when you look at it, The last 3 weeks, Atlanta Falcons have averaged 10 points, have given up 28 points a game, and they're -4 in the turnover differential. So, and they've been outscored by over 70 points since week 10, which is the largest. I mean, Carolina had a bye last week, if I'm not mistaken. Coming off of a game where you sign this quarterback, he has a 5.6 passer rating. Cordero Patterson is fully healthy and rested. It shows. Chuba's going to be going full for them. I just don't see consistency. Russell Gage will be playing for Atlanta. I'm going to take Atlanta.
Fair enough. Josh, what do you think?
I also like Atlanta. If McCaffrey was playing, I think that gives Carolina something. But just from what I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Carolina's 2-4 at home. Atlanta's 4-2 on the road. Give me Atlanta.
They
Jordan
still have the second-ranked defense, by the way, Carolina.
Yeah, but I mean listen, end of the year, they still play Tampa Bay twice. They still play Tampa Bay twice. They play the Bills and they play the Saints. Those are the remaining games after this week. So you're that defensive stat, they're going to finish. They may be lucky to finish top 10, but
the defense is what was keeping him in the games closely, but they had no offensive drive.
Well, yeah, but when Cam Newton's throwing 2 picks and your defense is playing on a short field, that kind of hurts you. And if your offense can't move the ball and you're losing the field position or the field position battle, your defense can't hold up all day.
They're now going to double cover DJ Moore. That's all they're going to do. They're going to double cover DJ Moore. Your only weapon. You have nothing left.
I'm not trying to be funny, but Carolina kind of reminds me a lot of Tampa Bay before Brady got there, where it was hey, this defense is actually kind of good. If you really look at the players and you look at what they can do, if only we had a quarterback that wasn't toning it over multiple times every game. And then I don't know, maybe they get somebody in the draft that comes in and fix it. Maybe they sign a big free agent or something. I'm also going with
goes to the Panthers.
Aaron Rodgers to the Panthers.
If he gets dealt, he's going to the AFC. He's not staying in the AFC.
Hey, what about Russell Wilson getting traded?
Russell Wilson also, if he went to the Panthers, I think that instantly turns them into a playoff team.
It would. I think it would turn them into it would be them in Tampa Bay. God, it would be tough to say they're the favorites, but they do have a lot of defensive personnel. I like how aggressive they've been. I have to go with Atlanta, though, just because of the massive collapse from Carolina after that first solid-looking month. And now, what was it, 2-7 or something? Or whatever it is. So they're terrible. It has to be Atlanta.
So this game opened Carolina -3. It's moved to -2.5. The line's getting ready to move again. The money's coming in at a 3-1 clip for Atlanta on the money line. Vegas is all about Carolina winning, but they've got to hedge the bets here. That means this line's going to move. Chris, you think it goes to 2 or 1.5? What do you think it moves?
Well, it's probably going to go to 3.
It's at 2.5.
Take it. Yeah,
you think it moves back?
2.5. You're only paying 5. Yeah, because you're -115. When the higher the juice, the more it's going to move towards that number.
Right.
So to take them at -2.5, you have to pay 15% juice. So instead, it'll go to -120, where you'd have to get to be at -2.5 if you want to go that way. But anyway, you know what, guys? I'm taking Carolina.
There it is.
I'm taking Carolina. Let me just tell you, they played a couple of weeks ago. Carolina won at Atlanta. Sam Darnold threw for 129 yards. Matty Ice threw for 146. Just saying, Carolina's defense plays well against bad teams. And Atlanta is not a good team.
Yeah.
They only gave up the leading rusher for Atlanta that day was one Mike Davis with 44 whopping yards. So I'm Carolina at home, already a win against them. This is a chance for me to make up a game. I feel like it's a good spot, especially after hearing the other picks. So
yeah, you stole my thunder, because what I was getting ready to say was that these are two really bad offenses, but only one team has a really good defense. Now, granted, Atlanta's in a similar situation where their defense is certainly better than their offense, and I get that statistically they stack up pretty evenly on paper, but I think that Carolina is not equipped. I'm sorry, Atlanta is not equipped to keep up with Carolina because they're just not going to be able to score. I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball. I don't think they're going to be able to score. Matt Ryan is a shade of himself. Whoever's tapping their microphone is going to get suplexed right out of the gym in about 8 seconds.
That'd be
Chris, if you're tapping your fingers on the desk, it sounds like you're doing this on your mic. I'm going to need you to get.
My mic is over here.
Are you tapping your foot?
Here.
Something's tapping. Anyway, we'll figure that out later.
I was kind of vibing. It kind of felt like we were making our picks to like an African blow drum.
It kind of felt like my ADHD was like about to explode my head because I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from.
It's my mouse. Just shut up. I quit freaking doing research.
I felt like it
no,
was
you don't want me to
Friday
do
night
any
at a Madison
research.
Mohawks game.
I mean,
Hey,
I know you don't want me to look up anything. I'm only in last, and you assholes are on me about clicking my damn mouse.
No, it wasn't.
I ate the fucking jerky.
No, listen, we can hear the clicking too, but the clicking wasn't bothering. I think you were moving the desk or something. Anyway, you weren't doing it on purpose. Don't get soft on me here, Chris. So listen,
Atlanta has the 3rd ranked cornerback in all of the league.
I understand. On paper, Atlanta's defense doesn't stack up that poorly, but I think that if you put Cam Newton in there and let him run, if he starts throwing the ball, Carolina's fucked. But Cam Newton is still athletic enough to make plays to a certain extent. I just think that Carolina's offense is going to have a little bit of an edge over Atlanta's. They already beat them once. They didn't have Cam Newton then. I think Cam Newton's a better option than Sam Darnold. I think Carolina's going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think either offense is good enough to blow out either of these defenses. But there's a reason that Carolina beat them before, and I think Carolina's in a better position to do it now. They're at home. They've got Cam better than Sam. I'm going with Carolina. I've got to.
You're just trying to gain a game.
Hey.
No, I'm trying to pick a winner.
Say Sam Darnold put up 129 yards and they still won. Cam can put up 129 yards and he sucks.
And 50 on the ground. So I'm just saying.
We saw what happened against Miami. We saw what he did against Miami.
Not comparable. Not comparable.
Has everybody picked this game already?
Yes, we have.
Yes.
Just so you know, they pretty much said that the other guy that can throw the ball, I'm drawing a blank on his name, is going to get plenty of snaps.
Whatever his name is?
PJ Walker, the Houston Roughnecks superstar.
He's gonna get some run in this game. So they're gonna have a couple of packages for both quarterbacks. And I don't think it takes many points. So, you might find, lightning in a bottle on 3 drives, and that might be enough.
There are still XFL fans that think PJ Walker's going to be good in the NFL.
Yeah, all 3 of you?
Here's his shot. He's playing a pretty bad team.
We'll talk about this guy next. Tyler Heineken was the backup for my St. Louis Battlehawks.
I like how he says my St. Louis Battlehawks.
St. Louis Battlehawks.
I loved.
Did you just pick a team?
Yes.
No,
yes.
I went over to Chris Paxidis' house every Saturday or Sunday to watch.
You guys just picked a team, damn it! Don't say otherwise. And the only reason Pax picked the Battlehawks was because he decided they had some stupid Battlehawk war cry, and it was as stupid as the Browns going dog check.
It was actually because they were the closest to Ohio by mileage, and also Chris said that he knew the pain of having a team. This isn't a joke. He knew the pain of having football stripped from his city, so he wanted to support St. Louis.
What, when he was fucking 4 years old? Come on. Art Modell did the city of Cleveland a favor, and I stand by that. I'm just saying.
No, absolutely not. They would have had Super Bowls in Cleveland if they'd have kept the same ownership.
No shot.
They would have got some freaking rings in Cleveland, baby.
No shot.
He did not do them a favor.
No shot. Next game on the list, Washington hosting the Dallas Cowboys. The Jerry Jones Dallas Cowboys. Dallas minus 4.5 on the road. Who wants to start us off on this one? Jordan does?
I'll do it. I'll go first just because it's easy. Keep it simple, stupid. This is Washington, a hot football team, playing good defense without Chase Young, going up against Dallas, the Beto football team, who's healthy, and they have the defensive rookie of the year. To keep it simple, it's Dallas. I can't go with the upset in this one. I could see it. I don't know what the spread is on this game off the top of my head.
4.5.
What is it at? 4.5. I could see Washington covering. It's a division game. I think it'll be played really tough, but I just can't see Dallas dropping it to Washington, not to the Sisms, especially because I think McCarthy is kind of showing them, like, you guys know this ain't over. Like, they're coming for us, and we got to squash any and all hope that they might have. So I'm going with Dallas in this one. I think they are the better team, and I think they proved that. But this is going to be this is my game of the week. I know Tampa Bay and Buffalo play. This is my game of the week. I think this is going to be physical as hell. And give me Dallas.
So look, you've got Randy Gregory that just got activated. He is coming back. Yes, they signed Ito Smith this week as a running back, possibly. Tony's he hasn't practiced because he tore his plantar fascia, so it's a possibility. I know Micah's got a hip injury, but they said it's just discomfort, nothing of serious nature. So I'm tired of people, and I want you to understand something. So as far as running backs go, yes, Tony Pollard is good. I get it. He's faster than Zeke. He can do that. Zeke is ranked in the top fucking 10 as a running back, okay? He's got 765 yards. He's got 8 TDs. He's got more touchdowns than Dalvin Cook. He's got more touchdowns than Najee Harris. He's got more touchdowns than Chubb. He's got more touchdowns than Antonio Gibson. He's got more touchdowns than Lamar Jackson, even though Lamar's like 3 yards behind him as far as a rusher. So the fact that they say that he's averaging, and that's only in 173 attempts. He's got 70 less attempts than a lot of these people, and he's still in the top 10. So I still have faith in him. It'll be absolutely fine. Now, with Heineken, whatever the fucker's name is, it's the quarterback. Look, he's got a 110 rating during the 4-game winning streak. It's great. It's the third highest among 32 quarterbacks with 2+ starts. Zeke's got fewer than 50 rushing yards in 4 straight games. It's the longest of his career. So the football team has won 4 straight, yada, yada. Micah Parsons, by the way, the first player with 70+ tackles, 10+ sacks through the team's first 12 games of a season since Pittsburgh's James Harrison of 2010. The player that I expect to really step up this week, even more than what he's already done, is Michael Gallup. I think Gallup's going to be the dude that's going to strive this week because you can only cover so many, and Dalton's looked pretty good too in the flats when he's getting some separation, but I expect Anthony Brown to step up. You know, Diggs is Diggs. I mean, you can't go as much as you get. Either you get all or nothing with him. Either you get an interception or you get burnt for 70 yards. So it's kind of, he'll probably be on Terry McLaurin the whole game. I thought Logan Thomas was going to be coming back. You know, he looked decent last week in Vegas, and then he got hurt, which is unfortunate for him. So they lose that weapon again. But Dallas will go to 9-4 this week.
I'll go next. I saw a stat on Mr. Trevon Diggs the other day that I meant to send in the group chat, but I didn't. I'm going to take Dallas, but I have kind of a hot take. Somebody seriously gets hurt for Dallas. It's a big-time player. It's like it's a receiver, it's a running back, or it's Dak. Somebody is going to get hurt in this game because it's played in Washington, and people always get hurt. And it's what's going to derail the Cowboys season. Now, listen to this stat I heard about old Trevon Diggs, because everybody was calling him, you know, the next Deion Sanders, whatever it may be. Despite his 9 interceptions on the season, Trevon Diggs leads the NFL in pass yards allowed with 861. That's 123 more yards than the next highest player. He is also tied for first in yards per reception allowed with 17.6 and is second in the league with 15+ yard completions allowed with 17, minimum of 50 targets. So we talk about he's boom or bust. Jordan's mentioned it plenty of times. He's either getting a pick or he's getting burned over the back and it's a touchdown, you know, and it's feast or famine. I think Dallas is the better team over Washington. You look at Washington's last few games, they beat Vegas by 2. They beat Seattle by 2. Both of those teams, we've all kind of agreed, aren't top tier teams. They beat a Carolina that's not very good. They did beat Tampa Bay, and then they lost to Denver. I don't see Dallas dropping it, but I do think somebody tears an ACL. Somebody gets hurt.
Damn,
for Dallas.
Final Destination. Jesus
Listen,
Christ.
somebody's getting hurt. I'm telling you,
it always happens in Washington.
It always happens in Washington. It's a division
That's fine.
game.
Heineken can tear his leg. That's fine. He's a quarterback.
Listen, it may be somebody for Washington, but I feel like that's just Dallas's mantra is they have a good season going, and then somebody gets hurt, and it derails their season completely. I feel like this is the week.
Absolutely the worst turf.
It is the worst field.
The league.
They need to bone that franchise to the ground and move it to St. Louis. They really do. They need to just forget about
Why?
it.
So you can scream stupid bird noises at them again?
No, it has nothing to do. I would be a Vikings fan for the NFL, but I'm just saying, man. I mean, you got all this stuff that's coming out about the owner. You got the field where everybody's blowing their knees out every season. They're making cheerleaders flash their boobies to get their passports back so they can come home. And they're a garbage can of an organization, and I feel bad for them because I love their head coach. I think he's got an
quarterback. You got an old quarterback coming out writing books about how shitty the franchise was and how the medical staff there was a joke. It's a dumpster fire.
Look, I'm not going to comment on all of the off the field issues that Washington as a franchise has had. I'm not there, so I'm at the mercy of what we're being told as to what's true and what's not. But what I can tell you is that on the field, Washington is going to win this game, and I'm going to tell you why. Washington is playing well. Dallas is a better team than Washington. But these are the types of games that teams like Dallas historically lose. Dallas is on a roll. They think they've got it, at least the playoffs locked up. And I do still think Dallas is going to make the playoffs. Let's not get crazy. But this is the type of game that Washington has to find a way to win. And I think this team's got a lot of heart. Now, I'm not so sure about the hot take of guaranteeing somebody gets hurt, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Listen, how are you going to say Dallas is on a roll when they're 2-3 in their last 5?
It feels like they are.
Yeah.
No. It should be in what they are.
Again,
the Vikings should have a lot more wins. But
the same reason. Exactly. Thank you. Exactly the same reason that I say the Vikings are a much better team than their record. I think Dallas is still one of the better teams in the NFC. They had a pretty bad November. I get it. They were 1-3 in November. It's not a great month by any stretch of the imagination, but Dallas is putting together a solid playoff resume. They have been for a while. They've managed to work around underperforming. Everybody expected Zeke to be way overperforming where he's at this year. Nobody would have if you would have told me week 1 that Zeke would have not been the clear-cut guy in the Dallas backfield by like week 10, I would have said you're fucking high. But he's not the clear-cut guy. I mean, is he out of the scheme? By no means. But Zeke is not he's not like Derrick Henry clear-cut number 1, right? So our point is this. Washington has got to find a way to win this game. They have to, period. Heineke's not, contextually speaking, a great quarterback, but Heineke's got a lot of heart. I feel like these guys like playing with him. This is the type of game that you see upsets in, so I'm going Washington.
I've heard he's the poor man's Russell Wilson is what people compare him to.
Doesn't matter. The reason that Russell Wilson has driven teams to success at every place he's ever played is because people want to play hard for that guy. It's the same reason that Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. Peyton Manning was a much more physically talented quarterback than Tom Brady, but it didn't mean shit in the locker room at halftime of the Super Bowl. Tom Brady had Peyton Manning beat by miles and miles in that regard. So I'm just telling you, don't underestimate guys' willingness to come out of the locker room and do everything they can to win a game because they want to do it for their teammates. I think Washington's got a little bit of that spark this year. So, Chris, what do you think?
I've been playing Nathan Nickel, 4th and long bingo, and Tom Brady is not as physically gifted as Peyton Manning. Actually, has me 1 space away. Now all I need is weather doesn't affect football games, and I get a free fucking sandwich from whatever. Like,
from Jimmy John's.
Can you show us your bingo card?
I can show you my picks for this week. It's on my iPad.
There you go. There you go. Chris, what do you think?
I'm taking Dallas, but I'm gonna bet actually Washington. I just feel like I just feel like if Washington could win, my eyes tell me that Dallas is a better team. they do.
Our defense is finally back healthy with DeMarcus Lawrence back, with Randy Gregory back.
I get it. I get it.
I like it.
I know. But also I see Washington. As I didn't think Washington had a chance against Tampa either. And it's at home, and it's only as bad as Washington played. What are they? 2 games behind Dallas? As bad as they played, they get them at home. I feel like on an outdoor track, that kind of goes to Washington. So if I can keep it at 4 and a hook, I'm probably going to take Washington. But fact that
Chris, you're a coward for not picking Washington on the show. I just want to let you know that.
No, Dallas is the smart pick just to win.
It's crazy to me that you didn't take Baltimore and Washington. It actually is crazy to me.
Okay, if I miss them both, I'm completely out. I ain't gaining 4 in 5 weeks.
Well, you could.
I did.
Know what I
anyway.
mean?
So, look, I'm fine being the lone wolf on this one. I'll happily accept that role. I think Washington's going to win. That's all that matters. Next game on the docket should be...
Dallas is going to win. That's all that matters. I'm so tired. See, between you and Josh, it's all that matters. It's what's right. God, I hate that line.
My boy gets all in his feels when you go against the American team.
Motherfucking opinion, because as soon as we make one, it doesn't matter. This is all that matters.
You can tell the Cowboys. You can tell the Cowboys are spiraling out of control.
No. It's not even Dallas related. It's when something gets made that he doesn't agree with. It's all that matters. Nate says Michigan State's going to cover. It's all that matters. Cincinnati's the number 4. It's all that matters. I hate that.
I feel like he's going to do a dance outside of a car.
Well, you know what, Shep? I'll say the same thing to you when my kids say that they hate me. I just say, yeah, but I love you. So we all move on. Next game on the docket should be a little easier to pick. That's my opinion, and that's what matters, is Houston and Seattle. Seattle's road favorite -8.5. What do we think, guys?
Damn, I got it at 9.
Seattle.
Can I start?
Sure.
Houston, the first team in the NFL mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. So I'm going Seattle because Houston stinks.
Yeah, Houston. I want the Houston and the Lions. I want Houston and Detroit to play for the number 1 pick. I think that would be really entertaining to see. It would be the Suck Bowl, but I'm taking Seattle in this one. This is close to a Suck Bowl. Seattle's barely alive.
I think we should make them play for the number 1 pick, and then the winner's got to play Bama.
No.
For
relegated.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Shep, what do you got on this one, bub?
Okay, so my opinion is that Russell Wilson is 43-8 in career games against teams that have lost 10+ games in that season. The Texans are averaging 13 points a game this season. That's the fewest in the NFL. Brandon Cooks most likely isn't even playing this game. And if you remember, they benched Tyrod Taylor last week against Indy, and David Culley said, well, I'm never going to bench Tyrod in any situation. And then they said, oh, well, Tyrod had a thumb injury, so we don't really know what's going on. So we put Davis Mills in. DK has 60 receiving yards or fewer in 5 straight games. He looked good last week, though, against San Francisco, which me being the only one that picked him. And now everybody wants to jump back on that bandwagon since I picked them last week. So I'm going to stay on the bandwagon just like when I picked Atlanta. And I'm going to take Seattle again.
Attaboy. Hey, throw him under the bus for riding your coattails. I love it. Chris, what do you got here? By the way, I'm going to take Seattle and leave it at that. Chris, go ahead.
Where did he go?
Chris, I think you're muted, buddy.
Yep.
Are you muted?
I didn't want you to hear that click. I'm sorry. Anyway, I think Seattle is going to throw the ball a whole lot because they know that Russell Wilson wants out unless he gets to run the offense his way, and that's definitely going to be sling the ball around. So I think Seattle's on the verge of getting right. I don't know how good they are, but they're definitely getting right against Houston. So I'm taking Seattle.
It's insane to me that they have the wide receiver core that they do, and that he is so dead set on running the ball with Alex Collins, and you have DK Metcalf,
Adrian Peterson.
And they picked up Adrian Peterson. But
Adrian Peterson's out with a back problem.
You
didn't see that coming from an old man, did you?
He scored a touchdown last week, man. He scored a touchdown.
Somebody said something about how AP is joining every NFL team until he gets a Super Bowl, but they were like, he keeps joining bad teams. Like, just sign for the vet minimum with the 1 seed and be the 5th string and get your hardware and retire.
Call Tom Brady and beg.
Right.
You know what though? The way things have gone, if AP signed on to a team with Tom Brady, he might fuck around and rush for 1,500 yards. You never know.
Right?
You never know. You never know.
Brady
So
would bring the best out of him.
yeah, well,
he gets the best out of everybody. Look at Lenny Fournette blowing up
hey,
this year.
Super Bowl Lenny, let's go. Next game on the docket, Bengals, 49ers. Ship, you talked about the bandwagon being against the 49ers. What do you got on this one for us, brother?
All right, so look, Chris Evans isn't going to play. Logan Wilson's not going to play. They said Mixon's a game time decision.
He practiced it. He's probably going to play.
Yeah.
He might not get full workload, though.
I don't know what Burrow's pinky looks like after last week. That shit was ugly as hell.
They call that the Anthony Munoz special.
Yeah, so look, the 49ers have 298 defensive pass interference penalties, yards, and 464 total defensive penalties entering week 14. So their defense just likes to just do shit like the old school Bengals team. Joe Burrow has a sub 100 passer rating in 4 straight games. Between the two of them, Garoppolo and Burrow, as far as stats wise, it's not too far off, honestly. Both of them were about 60%, 65% completion rating. Both of them were about 98 passer rating. Cincinnati is the first team since 2014 to win 4+ games by 19+ points and then lose multiple games by 19+ points in the same season. Per my PF chain ratings, as you like to call them, Josh Norman is allowing a 125 passer rating when they target him. So
Derrick Henry stiff-armed him. He ain't covered anybody.
He hasn't. And Jamar's definitely dropped off. He's averaging about 60 yards less the last 5 weeks.
Today. 5 straight games without over a 20-yard reception, and he had a chance to do that, and then just juggled it to the defender last week.
So the final fun stat. Oh, yeah. The final fun stat though, Nick Bosa has 12 sacks this season. No other 49ers player has more than 3.5 sacks. So I think, and I saw it last week when I watched that San Francisco-Seattle game, they just don't look as consistent on offense. I liked Ayuk. He looked good when they actually fed him the ball, and Trey Mitchell looked good. Or not Trey, what's his name? Mitchell. I don't know his first name.
Elijah
Mitchell. Correct. But other than that, I mean, even Kittle didn't even play a big role in it. So I just, as far as consistency wise, I as long as Burrow's finger's fine, I'll take Cincinnati because there's nothing else that's jumping off the board to me to pick San Francisco.
Yeah, this game I think is going to be close. My gut tells me it's one the Bengals could easily lose because they've certainly looked like hot, on fire trash at multiple points of this season. But they've also shown shades of potential greatness. I really don't know how to feel about this Bengals team, but because I just won't pick against them, especially in a close game like this, I'm going Bengals, but it wouldn't shock me if they dropped this one, to be completely honest with everybody. Next.
Is Debo playing?
Questionable. He's questionable.
Then it's Cincinnati. If he's questionable and he didn't play last week and he didn't finish out against the Vikings,
hang on. Let me get your practice reports up.
Yeah, it's going to depend for me if Debo plays.
If Debo plays, then I do think San Francisco's going to pull it out because he's. I don't know. I can't think of another player in the league that is the team that isn't a quarterback. Debo Samuel goes out. What is that offense? If he's in the game, he does everything, man. He's running the ball foam. He's catching it. He's scoring all the touchdowns. He's so fast. He's so electric. He's having this great year. If he plays, I think I'm going to pick Cincinnati just because he's limited. But if Debo finds a way into that game, then I think it's going to be San Francisco. But because of the information I have on a Friday evening, Cincinnati is going to win.
By the way, Elijah Mitchell, the running back, also is out of the game as well.
He's got a concussion and a knee injury.
I was being quiet. I need a gain.
He's out. But Joe Mixon could be out. Who's their backup?
Yeah, but then you've got Dre. You've got Dre Greenlaw's out. You've got Maurice Hurst is out for the defense. Who else is out?
What have they said about the other running back? Pinky? Is it broke?
It was. I think they fixed it, but it was certainly broke. I can tell you. If your pinky looks,
it was broke. It was broke on Wednesday. They fixed it on Thursday.
It was just dislocated.
It wasn't broke. It was just dislocated. Just pop that puppy back in.
Well, it was on his throwing hand, right? We wouldn't be talking about this.
Listen, Dalvin Cook can dislocate his shoulder and come back and play. If Joe Burrow can't dislocate his pinky and come back and play, a
little different.
No, not a little different.
Yeah, it's
no. They wear a glove.
You throw the ball.
Burrow's going to wear a glove.
Wear a glove. Figure it out.
Joey too.
Man, I'm going San Francisco.
You're a coward.
Wow.
I'm going San Francisco.
Josh wants to eat some chip.
Listen, I've already got Nathan.
Pick the Bengals and run it.
I've already got 2 games.
I'm already on the Bengals.
I've already got 2 games with Nathan picking Washington and somebody else, so I'm going to gain 1 or 2, and then if I can get,
you got to catch me first.
Shut up, Jordan.
Kid. Young man.
Okay, so I'm going the Bengals. I was going to go the Bengals anyway. Not that I don't love it. I mean, I could definitely see San Francisco coming in. I mean, the Bengals laid an egg last week. I mean, they gave up, multiple points early on and played from behind the entire game. So, I mean, I definitely could see that happen again. The Bengals need to take care of the football. Just plain and simple. They are the ball. But they do funnel to the pass, and that's what you want if you're a Cincinnati fan, because you got all those. Let's run that. So I'm going to go with the Bengals in a 50-50 game, and
I hope Jordan knows that El Viking Lucha can't make an appearance because we played last night.
He does know.
Yeah, it doesn't. Is he playing? Is he bringing El Lion Lucha?
Oh, maybe. Stop! Next game on the docket. This should be an easy one, folks. Denver, Detroit.
Hey, we thought Minnesota, Detroit last week was an easy one.
It should have been. Let's be honest about it.
So look, let's start with it. I know y'all probably heard about it. Since it is Denver, finally we could talk about it. R.I.P. to Demaryius Thomas, 33 years old today. They said it was probably a seizure from what the reports say, unfortunately. So, but as far as moving forward, Blair Witch Volume 3?
Yeah, I had to get my camera set back up. Sorry.
Okay, so I thought that was like the TikTok where he's like, hey, I'm going to show you something, and the phone keeps falling. I thought that's what that was. Bridgewater's got fewer than 2 passing touchdowns in 5 straight games. The Broncos are 3-1 versus the NFC. Jared Goff has a 108 passer rating in his last 2 games. 108. The Lions have not won back-to-back games, by the way, since 2020. I mean Denver, but I'd like to see fucking Detroit win.
I was hoping you were going to take a leap. I was hoping you were going to take a leap.
I started losing. He said they haven't won back-to-back games since 2020.
I mean, it's a stat.
Oh,
that's true.
Shit. It is a stat. Hey, here's a stat for you. Teddy Two Gloves don't fuck around against the Detroit Lions. All right, and he's winning again this week, but this time it's not for the Vikings or the Saints or the Jets or any of the other teams he stopped on this Joni. He's winning it for Denver, and next year he'll probably be in Carolina again. I mentioned them.
Yeah, I think Denver's gonna stomp all over the Lions this game. It's an easy pick for me. Josh,
all their boys should be back though. Bradley Chubb should be back. Melvin Gordon should be back. All them guys are back.
I still see Gordon as questionable and Chubb is questionable.
He's probably.
They were limited on.
They were probably limited, but they're probably coming back. But
I hope Gordon doesn't.
I'm taking Denver. I can't take the Detroit Lions,
Javonte.
although they are in their last 5 games. They are 1-3-1. So
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
They're turning the corner.
Well, it's a hot streak,
team,
but
hot.
They haven't won back-to-back games since 2020. So
it's week 6 and 7 of 2020. I should have specified early in the fucking season.
Look, I'm not hating on it. It was just funny how you said it.
Will you start next season, week 1, every pick? Will you say the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers haven't won back-to-back games since 2021, or they haven't?
It'll get said. Fuck you all.
So Chris,
is anybody? Well, that's neat. I'm taking Denver at home. I just can't say winning streak in Detroit together, even if it did happen in 2020. Just can't see it happen in back-to-back years. Anyway, I'm going with Denver. I'm going with Denver. They're at home. But I would definitely take 10 points in the Lions because the Lions at least usually keep it interesting.
Yeah. Next game is also a 10-point spread. You got the LA Chargers hosting the New York Football Giants. This is a West Coast game. Kicks off at 4:25. I'll start. Another easy pick for me. It's Chargers. Big. Next.
But see, last week was for them. Who'd they play last week? They won last week, correct?
The Bengals. Yes, the Bengals.
So, but no, what I'm saying is, so last week was their winning week. They won. So technically, based on their way their pattern goes, if you look at their fucking schedule, this is supposed to be their down week. But it just so happens that they're playing a team that I think I don't know. I haven't looked at the injury report. If the fastest quarterback in New York is playing,
he's out.
He's out. See, so you got Glennon playing again. They started to use Barkley a little bit more the second half of that game last week, which I liked, but the Chargers are the only team to average 26 points a game and allow 26 points a game this season. That's where that stat comes from that I say that I can't ever read them. If they could be fucking consistent for a couple weeks, then they can actually start, being competitive. Because they are a game behind Kansas City right now. When at some point, when you think about it, if they were consistent that they should be, they could be 3 or 4 up based on when Kansas City was fucking scuffling, and then kind of having these games where they could fall off. But they're losing the ones again that they shouldn't be losing. So no running back for the Giants or the wide receiver has scored a touchdown in their last 5 games for the Giants. No running back, no receiver. So all they have, the Chargers have allowed 20 plus points in 8 straight games. I don't think that streak continues this week though. But I agree with you. I think it's the Chargers this week.
Have the Chargers won back-to-back games since in 2021?
Easy. Make your pick, clown.
I actually don't know. It wouldn't surprise. I'm sure they have, but
they have.
I'm also going with the Chargers in this one. The Giants aren't very good, and Mike Glennon's really going to have to stick his neck out and take some risks and all yada yada yada. The guy looks like a fucking giraffe, and he's losing. He's losing this game. It's the Chargers all the way.
Josh, what do you think?
Chargers.
Week 8 and week 9, by the way. Week 8 and week 9 of 2021, the Chargers won back-to-back games.
There you go. All right,
Chris, are you making the desperation pick here?
No. Chargers at home. Saquon could have a decent game though, but it's the Chargers at home.
Cool. Next game on the docket. Tampa Bay, Buffalo, potentially a Super Bowl preview. This is the, I believe, the nationally televised game of the week in the 4:00 slot on the East Coast. Whoever wants to start this mess, go ahead.
I'll go ahead because I already got it picked and I don't want to be swayed. I'm going with Tampa Bay, and I know Buffalo is like everyone is in love with them, and everyone continues to be in love with them, and everyone still thinks Josh Allen is like an MVP candidate. He's playing like ass. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are bad NFL quarterbacks this season. They just are. They're not completing passes. They're missing open guys. They're turning the ball over. They're not winning games that they should. To me, this is Tampa Bay, who I think will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, going up against a wild card team in Buffalo that's probably going to get bounced in the first round by Tennessee. I think Tampa Bay does whatever they want against their defense. Because Tampa Bay's offense, it's going to find a way, and I don't think Buffalo's offense is going to be able to take advantage of a Tampa Bay secondary that's been pretty banged up. I just don't trust Josh Allen to win this game on the road. I think he is fully shook at this point in the season, and he's got to go to some therapy or something, and he's got to get right because they gave him a big old contract, and this contract, we could be talking about this next season. This contract is a bad contract that they gave him. So I'm going with Tampa Bay. I'm interested to hear what everybody else thinks, though.
I'll tell you what I think. I think that there was a lot that you said there that sounds pretty crazy to me, but I expect it coming from a guy who has harped for 2 years about how Kirk Cousins' contract is terrible, and we haven't heard him say a single word negatively about Kirk this year.
He eats up 25% of our cap next year, by the way. That's how bad that contract is.
And I get it, but I don't think that I think that Josh Allen's situation is very much overstated by Jordan and some of the things that he said. But look, this is a good game. This is gonna come down to, you know, who protects the ball better. I think the team that has the most takeaways is the team that's going to win this game, which I know is not a super, like, that's not really a hot take. That's something that happens, but I think it's going to come down to like a big turnover in the fourth quarter or something like that to really turn this game on its head. I think Jordan sells Josh Allen short. I think he's not having his best season, obviously, but I do still think that Josh Allen is a good NFL quarterback. Comparing him to Lamar Jackson is probably not fair. Calling either of them bad quarterbacks, I also don't think is fair. But I'm gonna, as much as I hate to do it, I'm gonna go Tampa Bay just because above all of that, I really don't like to pick against Tom Brady in close games. I think this is the type of game that Tom Brady can be Tom Brady and do what he does best, and that's win big games that are close.
Hey, just for clarifying purposes, I'm not comparing Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. They're both just having really bad years. And my issue with Josh Allen is, okay, yeah, he's not having his best season. He's had one good season, and it was far and away his best season last year. And other than that, there were talks of whether or not he was a draft bust. I want him to succeed. I love the archetype that he is. Huge, big arm, cold weather. Like, I like Josh Allen. I want him to be good, but he just hasn't been that great this season. He hasn't been transcendental, or, you know, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I'm sorry that he's not been Tom Brady in his prime for you, but I still think Josh Allen is having, you know, is having a decent season. I just think people had such high hopes for him coming in. I think it's shaded a little bit, but that being said, I'm going Tampa Bay just because I have a really difficult time ever picking against Brady in big games that really matter, and I think this is one. Chris, Josh, yep.
So
I'll go. Oh, go ahead.
So look, the last time they played was in 2017. It was in Buffalo, by the way. So I was looking it up. So the quarterbacks in this game were Jameis Winston versus Tyrod Taylor. Okay. Do you want to guess who the top receiver was for that game 4 years ago?
Will you tell me which team they were on?
Buffalo.
Zay Jones.
No, he was actually the 5th ranked receiver.
Damn.
Deontay Thompson.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what school he went to, Nate?
Deontay Thompson went to it was ACC school, I believe. Was it NC State?
It was the Gators.
Oh, that Deontay Thompson.
Florida fan?
Yeah, no, I forgot about him.
Did you say that Deontay Thompson? How many other Deontay Thompsons do you know?
To be honest with you, I was trying to remember where I knew that name. I didn't know.
All right, so hey, here's some fun Brady stats versus other teams. Brady
keep in mind he was at Florida during a fairly dark time, so we have short memories.
He was on the BCS national championship team. He has a ring.
Yes, that's true.
Brady is 17-1 in his career versus the team allowing the lowest passer rating entering that week of the matchup. His lone loss is against the 2009 New Orleans Saints in Week 10. Bills quarterbacks ages 25 or younger are 0-8 all-time versus Brady. Brady is 32-3 all-time versus the Bills. That is the most wins by any quarterback versus a single opponent since 1950. Brady is 67-16 in his career as a starter in the month of December. 15 more wins than any other quarterback in December. Tom Brady has not lost a game versus Buffalo since Week 17 in 2014 when New England had the number 1 seed locked up. Brady didn't play in the second half. Brady won 4 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, and an NFL MVP since then. Gronk has 6 career games, by the way, of 100-plus receiving yards against the Bills. Don Maynard has 8. Only other player against
Maynard.
Everything points to Tampa, even though Buffalo technically has the better defense. But they looked more consistent to me the past couple. So I like Tampa, and it's in Tampa, so it don't have to worry about weather or 40-mile-an-hour wind with 55-mile-an-hour gusts where you can't even kick a 32-yard field goal without it hitting you back in the forehead.
So you're going Tampa, just to clarify.
Correct.
Josh, what do you think, bud?
So I'm going to reference back to my Super Bowl prediction of the Indianapolis Colts here. So I'm going to tie this in.
Why? Because they're on a bye and you just got to get them in there?
Is this like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon?
Both teams have played against Indianapolis. Okay. Buffalo lost 41-15. Where's Buccaneer? They beat them. Tampa Bay beat them 38-31. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay because we talked. It was either last week or the week before. I was like, look, Buffalo can get hot. They can run with this. Yeah, it was last week because I thought they were going to beat New England. Buffalo doesn't. I mean, they just throw the ball. They can't run the ball. That was proved last week. They have no running game, even though they have Zach Moss, Singletary, and I can't think of the last guy. Who's the third running back there? Matt Breida. Yes, thank you. I'm sure Buffalo looked when Brady and Gronk left New England. I'm sure Buffalo fans said, "Thank God we never have to see him again." And then wham, bam, here they are again. So, listen, Brady owns the Bills, and Gronk owns the Bills. It's Tampa Bay.
Chris?
I'm going with Tampa. I think Buffalo is very one-dimensional, and I know the matchup is that Buffalo can throw against Bucks, but I think the Bucks are going to be able to drop somebody back in coverage to kind of help them out a little bit because they don't have to fear the run. So you give me Tom Brady and against a one-dimensional offense at home. I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
Cool. So Bucks across the board. Running out of time, but we do have 2 quick games left. Sunday night's game is pretty mismatched, if you ask me. We got Green Bay against the Bears. It's a 12.5-point game. Ship.
Green Bay. Oh, Green Bay. By the way, Bears have lost 6 of their last 7. Their only win was against the Lions. Aaron Rodgers is 22-5 as a starter against the Bears. Brett Favre's got.
He owns you.
Yeah, he owns you. Green Bay.
I don't like you, Chris.
Aaron Jones should be back too.
I was gonna click my mic on and said, "I still own you," and take the pack, but you stole my thunder.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, but it's true. Rodgers does own Chicago, and I don't see this game playing out any differently than the last one. This is Green Bay all the way,
and it's in Green Bay, correct?
Yeah, it's not 12 wins. It's by how much. I got it at 13 now.
They're a minus 700 in this game.
I mean, look. There's no shot short of the entire Packers team getting into a bus crash on the way to the game that the Bears are going to win this game. I mean, it's that simple. It's Green Bay. It's massive.
They should get a shit ton of snow over the weekend, by the way. That'll be a fun game.
Yeah, weather doesn't affect football games. There you go, Jordan. Have a sandwich.
There you go.
He got excited.
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
Fuck your life. Bing bong.
All right, so final game and final thoughts of the evening. We got 3 minutes left. We got the Arizona Cardinals hosting the LA Rams. Now, this is another potential NFC Championship preview. Chip, what do you think on this one, brother?
Oh man, I'm telling you
It's
what.
a tough one.
I mean, you've got it is. I mean, I feel like they're not forcing it to Odell as much. The last couple, he gets one. Matthew Stafford, by the way, is 5-62 in his career against teams that have 10+ games. Have won 10+ games this season. So he was on shitty teams. Kyler Murray leads the NFL with a 112 passer rating. Russell Wilson is the only NFC West quarterback to do that. That was in 2000 since the division realignment. The Rams are 8-0 when they allow 24 points or fewer this season. Stafford's 7-0 in games this season when he's a 100+ passer rating. So it's a toss-up this week, man. And God, and I think D-Hop comes back. He was back healthy last week. The first pass, is him for 21 yards or something like that. Man, Arizona.
Yeah, I'm jumping on. It's Arizona to me, and I'm not thinking about it too much. I saw this and I was like, oh, if this is a game that a month and a half ago I probably would have been like game of the week. I think this is Arizona. Colt McCoy could play, and this was Arizona. The Cardinals have shown that this isn't a one-man show. I'm not even going to worry. A weekend slate of football being without the Vikings having to play and having to stress about that. I know we won. Whoop the shit. Let's watch some games and just have a good time this weekend. So I'm excited, but Arizona in this final game, I think wins going away.
Fair enough. Josh?
Game. LA's beat bad teams. They beat Jacksonville and Houston in their last 5. They've lost to Green Bay, San Francisco, and Tennessee. The Cardinals have beat Chicago, Seattle, and San Francisco. Lost to Carolina and Green Bay. Arizona. I don't think LA's that good. I don't think Pat Stafford's that good. I watched him play in Detroit for so long, and he's still. I mean, you can put as much lipstick on a pig as you'd like. It's still a fucking pig. So
Jesus.
He's trash. He's not good. Sorry, Ship. He's not good. I'm gonna take Arizona. Final thought of the evening. Big win from the Vikings last night. 29-0 in the third quarter. Still came down to the last second touchdown because that's what we do in Minnesota.
Gotta love them.
Oh,
God, they're great. They're 6
They're
and 7
must-watch TV.
Listen, I'm just saying, when Chris Lance sent in the group chat and said the Vikings like to make it interesting, and I sent the meme of the guy bashing his head against his couch into his pillow, I was doing that all night last night. I was ready to go play Warzone at halftime. I was like, it's 29-0. And then I was like, well, it's the Vikings. They like to make things interesting. And sure as shit, came down to a Harrison Smith punch. But good week for football. A lot of good games.
Chris Lane, we got 60 seconds.
Gotcha. I'm going with the Cardinals. I think it's a great game. But I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I thought last week was a nice little warm up. They played in some adverse conditions, but they also got to play with D-Hop back and Kyler Murray back. And so you're getting Chase Edmonds back in the backfield. So I think the Cardinals are getting healthy. They're already good. They're at home. I'm going to go ahead and take them. My final thought is, the greatest thing about this time of year is we're getting ready to start to see all the division teams start playing each other. If you look at, I think about 60 to 65% of the slate this week are divisional games. So you're going to start seeing some teams, fall in their division, and then some maybe take charge of it. Maybe a hot team like Washington makes it interesting when they come out of nowhere, something like that. But that's why the divisional football is really good. They're kind of built to beat each other. So I think it should be a good thing for football.
It's 50% of the games this week are division games. So
Yeah.
7 of the 14 are division.
7 are? Okay.
Yeah, and I like that pick. Just to wrap things up here this evening, I like that pick of Arizona. I think both of these teams are pretty good teams, but I think Arizona has been way more consistent, way more solid, and is way more multidimensional than the Rams. I think it's time for the big boys to start putting up or shutting up, and I look for Arizona to do a good job this week, and I think Arizona's going to win this game. I wonder
if the Oakland scouts will be down there in Arizona. I wonder if they'll be watching.
Oakland, no, probably not, just because I'm not sure there's a lot of translatable skill set that's going to translate to when he's the starting center fielder for the Oakland Athletics. I can't believe Jordan.
Also, the Oakland Athletics are moving to Las Vegas. I don't know if
Vegas.
you guys saw that.
Yeah,
Are they moving to St. Louis?
No, they're going to move to Vegas. Makes sense. Vegas. There's no reason Vegas didn't have a team. And by the way, I bet Bryce Harper's kicking himself because he would have loved to sign a 10-year contract with a team in his hometown. Get him and Chris Bryant and the hometown boys be bopping in Vegas. But guys, with that being said, it's been another great week here on 4th and Long.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, I appreciate all of you guys. Just want to let you guys know, next week we'll be live on Friday. The week after that, Christmas week, is currently up in the air. A number of things that could be possible, so keep your eyes and ears peeled. We will be announcing that a little bit later. With that being said, I just want to thank everybody for taking time out of their Friday night, and we will be back. We'll be back, and you will see next week that my picks are correct. And join us Sunday on 4 laps down for potentially It's Some Money with Chris Lamb. We will see you guys next time. Have a good night.